What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome into the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I'm Harrison Graham. I am not in the office today, but another practice in the books at St. Joseph. So I thought I'd get you guys some updates, including an unfortunate piece of news item that we'll get into in just a second. But want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because, hey, whether we're in the Chat Sports studios or I'm at my house, we're going to continue to bring you guys the latest Chiefs news and rumors and training camp updates as we get closer and closer to preseason action and, of course, the regular season. So please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. All right, I'm Harrison Graham. Let's get into it here as the news of the day is a bit of an unfortunate one, but we'll get to some other notes as well later on. Jody Fortson, who's been having a very strong start to camp, really picking up where he left off last year when he started to look like a guy that could be a force at that tight end position. He left practice with an injury. It has been labeled as a quad injury. Rode in the front seat of a cart to the locker room, so it wasn't like he was straight up carted off the field, but did hop in a cart and to go get checked out. The Chiefs said that they will announce more on Monday because there's an off day tomorrow. So hard to know for sure the severity of the injury, but obviously a bit of a bummer, especially if it is a serious injury because Jody Fortson has been tearing up camp. He really has, and I think a lot of us have kept an eye on him dating back to last year and coming into this year. This could be a guy that gives you another weapon at that position. He's got a wide receiver background, made the switch to tight end last year, made the team, which was really impressive a year ago. And then coming into this year, I think it wasn't just about making the team for him. It was about, okay, this guy can be a real piece on this offense. And so now this could be another setback for him. Again, we don't know the severity. Maybe it's just a slight pull. Hopefully it's not, a torn muscle or something like that. I'm guessing if it's a very serious injury, we'll hear something from, the national reporters in the next day or so. But if we don't hear anything until Monday, I would hope that's a good thing. That means, maybe he's day to day or week to week, and he's going to be out there very, very soon. So Jody Fortson dealing with a quad injury. We'll talk more about what that could mean and some other ramifications of that in just a moment. But first, what is your one-word reaction to Fortson leaving practice with a quad injury today? Let me know in the comments. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you guys get hit with the YouTube ad break right here, scrolling down, reply right there, your one-word reaction to Fortson leaving practice with a quad injury. How about unfortunate? Obviously, it's unfortunate. Again, this is a guy coming off a major injury with the torn Achilles a year ago, right when he was really starting to turn a corner. He had just had a touchdown, I believe, the game before, and then, boom, the Achilles popped. So, obviously, that was not ideal. But, I mean, talk about hitting the rehab hard, being ready to go by training camp and tearing up training camp by all accounts. I mean, all the reporters with their boots on the grounds there in St. Joseph have just raved about how Jody Fortson has looked during training camp, and I'm excited about the kid. I think he's got unbelievable athletic ability. We know he can high point the football. He's a good route runner, and he's getting stronger as a player, making that move from wide receiver to tight end. So obviously, we're hoping the best here. I think worst case scenario would be there's some kind of torn muscle. Best case scenario, he's day to day, and maybe he just felt a little something, and they were being precautionary there. So probably somewhere in between. I'm guessing day to day, week to week, something like that. But I will say this: if you're going to have an injury, you'd rather have it now on July 30th than say August 30th. A week, 10 days before week 1 of the regular season. There's a lot of time between now and that week 1 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. So that is the silver lining here when it comes to Jody Fortson. So Jody Fortson leaving practice with a quad injury today. We won't have more information from the team until Monday. So keep it locked and loaded here. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, turn on noties. If there is any major developments, we will keep you guys informed. Okay, let's talk about a few other things going on at training camp. Let's start with Skyy Moore. Go from some negative news around Fortson to some positive news. Skyy Moore, the hype train is it's leaving the station. You better hop on board, otherwise you're going to miss it, because Skyy Moore, I think, is ahead of schedule for a guy who missed a lot of OTAs and minicamp with a bit of a hamstring issue, I believe it was, whatever it was. He looks great. He looks absolutely fantastic. Had a really strong practice today. I mean, Chiefs Twitter, it was all about Skyy Moore, it seemed like, outside of the fourth and stuff today. Just making a lot of plays, being a reliable target for Patrick Mahomes. I think he's looking more and more like a guy who could have an impact from day one. And that's awesome. As a second-round pick, you're hoping that's the case, but that's not always the case for rookies. There's a learning curve, as you guys know, jumping from college to the NFL, especially from, the MAC, Western Michigan. He tore up the MAC, but it's a bit of a leap from the MAC to the NFL. So for him to come in here and miss a lot of the offseason program and still be looking this good this early at training camp, I think that's a really, really good sign for Kansas City. It gives Patrick Mahomes another weapon, another toy for Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid as they draw up game plans in the regular season. So I think you should be excited about this. Scale it from 1 to 10. How excited are you about Skyy Moore? I'm at about a 9. I think there's a lot to be excited about here when it comes to the Chiefs rookie wide receiver. Scale it from 1 to 10. How excited are you for Skyy Moore? All right, other notes from training camp. Didn't see as much today, but obviously Juju Smith-Schuster's been a guy that stood out. I think I mentioned it on a video the other day. If any of these Chiefs receivers are going to be a true number one this year, I kind of feel like it's going to be Juju, but he's made several highlight reel catches. He's been solid so far in camp. That's a good sign. Let's talk about the offensive line a little bit. So obviously with Orlando Brown holding out, there's been some different looks in the offensive line. Today we saw a little bit of shuffling. We saw Andrew Wiley get some reps at left tackle. I think we saw Darian Kinnard getting some backup left tackle reps as well. So they're trying some different stuff over there. So we'll keep an eye on that as we progress along. Again, I still got to assume that Brown is going to be there week one. There's really no upside to him sitting out regular season games because it's not like the Chiefs can give him a pay raise this season. He's locked in on the franchise tag. There's nothing either side can do to change that for this year. So I still expect him to be out there week one, but the Chiefs have got to be prepared and they have to be ready to go and try different combinations and just to see in case Orlando Brown does sit out games that they do have some options there. So again, we saw Andrew Wiley getting some reps over at left tackle. He's done that a little bit before. Remember, he had to play the Super Bowl at left tackle against the Bucs. That obviously was not ideal. He's much better as a guard or a right tackle, but I do think that was worth mentioning here as we progress through Chiefs training camp. It was Roderick Johnson had been playing left tackle today. He was playing right tackle, and then the second team tackles were Jaron Christian at right tackle and Darian Kinnard, like I mentioned, at left tackle. So those were kind of the shufflings today, as Roderick Johnson had been getting work at left tackle. They flipped him to right today. Andrew Wiley at left tackle. So Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy trying some different combinations in camp, and that's smart because you want to do your due diligence and kind of figure out what you've got with your different combinations here, because it's not just Orlando Brown skipping training camp. It's Lucas Niang is on the PUP list. Prince Tegawanagu is currently banged up as well. So you got to try some different guys out there to see what you have. So that is the latest on the offensive line. A couple other nuggets. Joshua Williams seems to be having a strong camp. Reporters have pointed out his length, his ability to press on the line of scrimmage, make an impact in that way. So that is nice to see. He's made a couple of nice plays during training camp so far. So he could be a guy that gets some playing time early, especially with Rashad Fenton still recovering from injury. Joshua Williams could be emerging as that kind of number 4 corner after, Fenton, along with, of course, Trent McDuffie, the rookie out of Washington, and L'Jarius Sneed. I think Williams could be surpassing a guy like DeAndre Baker, who, if that's the case, he could be on the roster bubble as we get closer and closer to cutdown day, which we're not super close yet. We still got about a month or so until we get into that territory. But Joshua Williams showing some things as a rookie. Everywhere else, not a ton going on, just kind of standard stuff. Patrick Mahomes looks good for the most part. I think there's not some anxiety, but kind of some anticipation of, what this offense will look like, obviously without Tyreek Hill this year. But, it's a good sign that Skyy Moore has been looking good. Juju's look good. Not as much Marquez Valdes-Scantling buzz during training camp so far like there was in OTAs and minicamp, but I think the Chiefs feel good about where he is at as well. So I think for the most part, positive vibes. Obviously, let's, keep our fingers crossed when it comes to Jody Fortson, and hopefully he gets back out there soon and it is all good to go after suffering that quad injury today. But I think lots of things to be positive about through kind of this first week of Chiefs training camp. So I'll leave you guys with that as we are set to sign off here. Just want to get you guys a little bit of an update here on a Saturday afternoon. All right, my name is Harrison Graham. You can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at HGrahamNFL. More updates over there, especially on my Twitter page. So would encourage you guys to follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. We will continue to keep you guys in the loop with the latest Chiefs news and rumors coming out of training camp. All right, guys, we'll see you soon here on the Chiefs Report.